Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another Sport This Week video. And in today's video, of course, we have a lot of sport news. We've got Premier League, Champions League, Europa League for football. We've got Paris Masters for tennis. We've got Rugby Championship for rugby. And I think that's and the WBC World Lightweight Champion. For me to basically say who that is now. But yeah, if you're new around here and you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need to like the video, and let's get straight into it. Sorry if I know this shirt looks really long, but you know, you're just gonna have to see a bit of my neck. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So we'll start off with a bit of tennis this week. So like I said before, there was Paris Masters, so that was the start of that. Starting off with the person who, there was only one person who we follow who kind of went in that, and that was Nadal. So Nadal won 2-1 versus Lopez, then won again 2-0 versus Thompson, then again 2-1 versus Carreno, and then he went into the semi-finals where he unfortunately did lose 2-0 versus Zverev, and then Medvedev, I think that's how you say it, won 2-1 versus Zverev in the final to win the Paris Masters. So fair play to him, but that is all the tennis news this week. I know not a lot, but you know. We'll do a bit of boxing news now. Like I said before, the WBC World Lightweight Champion was decided this weekend, but I'll start off with some other news first. So Povetkin has got corona, so his fight versus White has to be postponed, which is a shame, but I mean, there's nothing really you can do about it. Get well soon to him. But you know, I guess it's just gonna have to be postponed for another time. But something that wasn't postponed was that fight, and it was Devin Haney who won versus Gamboa and remains still the WBC World Lightweight Champion. And if you know what that means, it means he basically needs to go for the WBA Champion. So I think next he needs to go for that, and then he's like at the top. But the WBC is still a very important thing, and he has just won that. So fair play to him. He looks like he's doing. I mean, he looks like he's going to be an amazing fighter in his career, because I believe he's only young. So yeah. But that is all the boxing news. We'll go on to F1 now. We've got only a little bit of news because there wasn't a Grand Prix this week. There will be next week, and I believe that's Turkey. Yeah. But yeah. So F1 added the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix for 2021 season. So, you know, that's just another one, another Grand Prix. It seems to be quite a lot next season. Oh, sorry. Dropped my earphones. But we'll go on to the football because, of course, there is quite a lot of footballing news. But we'll start off at the start of the week, which is when Fulham won 2-0 versus West Ham, getting their first win of the season. Bit annoying for me, but, you know, nothing they can do about it. Leicester then won 4-1 versus Leeds. Liverpool won 5-0 with a Jota hat-trick versus Atalanta, so this is moving into Champions League. Real Madrid won 3-2 versus Inter. Bayern Munich won 6-2 versus Salzburg. Man United lost 2-1 versus Istanbul with a Demba Ba goal. If you know him, you're a legend, to be fair. Borussia Dortmund then won 3-0 versus Club Brugge. Man City then won 3-0 versus Olympiacos. Borussia Mönchengladbach then won 6-0 versus Shakhtar Donetsk with a Plea hat-trick. I mean, that was without Thuram even on the pitch, and they're still doing very well. They seem like a very solid team this season. Barcelona then won 2-1 versus Dynamo Kiev. I struggled to spell that, if I'm completely honest, because I kept thinking there was different Dynamos. RB Leipzig then won 2-1 versus I forgot to write down who they were against. Let me think. Was it PSG? Might have been PSG. Let's just run with PSG. It was PSG. I wrote it down later. Southgate then put out his England squad, but Foden. The main kind of interesting point is Foden being recalled after what he did in Benfica. If you don't really know, he kind of I'll just make a long story short. He didn't abide by COVID to kind of restrictions in the camp, and got sent home with Greenwood, but Greenwood didn't get called back up, but Foden did. So you know, that's interesting. I don't know if any extra words were said from Greenwood, but you don't really know. Moving on now. Benfica and Roma drew 3-3. Spurs won 3-1 versus Ludogorets. Oh yeah, this is Europa League, by the way. Lille won 3-0 versus AC Milan with Yaziz, I think that's how you say it, hat-trick, which is AC Milan's first loss since March, which, I mean, on paper sounds impressive, but I mean, they did go in lockdown for a bit, but it's still impressive. I think that was their first loss this season. But you know, Leicester then won 4-0 versus Braga. That's how you say it. Burnley drew 0-0 with Brighton. Brexit game. Southampton won 2-0 versus Newcastle. Bayern won 3-2 versus Dortmund in the D Classier. I think that's how you say it. I think that's what it is. But yeah, I mean, at least it was an intense game. It's not just Bayern kind of just running away with it. So, you know, Chelsea won 4-1 versus Sheffield United. Man U won 3-1 versus Everton, with Cavani getting his first goal for Man United, which fair play to him. Moving on to some more football news. West Ham won 1-0 versus Fulham with Lookman. You know what it was. Apparently, Messi has had an offer from Inter Milan on the table, which would be a massive move for Inter Milan and also a massive move for Messi if he does decide to take it. But that's just another offer on the table for him, really. Pochettino got approached by Man United to be the next manager if Solskjaer does eventually ever get sacked. But, you know, doesn't seem like it at the moment. What else? Spurs won 1-0 versus West Brom. Then Lazio drew 1-1 versus Juventus. Rangers won 8-0 versus Hamilton Academia. I think that's how you say it. 8-0. Fair play to them. It seems like they've just run away with the title at the moment because Celtic have really not started very well. And, I mean, 8-0 is, you know, can't really do anything about that. Liverpool drew 1-1 with Man City. Leicester won 1-0 versus Wolves. And Villa won 3-0 versus Arsenal. And that is everything for the football this week. And then we just got a last bit of rugby, which is only one game one kind of international game. I don't really talk about any other games because, like I said last week, there's a lot of different kind of rugby news because I know Australian really like it, New Zealand really like it, and England really like it. And like I think there's other leagues about. So I didn't really want to annoy anybody, but I'm not mentioning them. So I'd just kind of stick it to big international games. Australia won 24-22 versus New Zealand in the Rugby Championship, which is quite surprising, really, because they did just lose the week before by quite a big margin, I believe. But, you know, fair play to them. I don't know if that is the same team, but I mean, it might be quite completely waffling. In England, it is quite hard to get kind of like news on Australian rugby, but you know, I tried to do what I tried to do. But that is it for today's video sport this week. That is it. I know it wasn't as long as usual, but hope you did enjoy it nonetheless. And yeah, if you are new around here and have not yet subscribed, please do so. We are on the road to kind of like 75 subscribers, whatever kind of road you want to say. And yeah, thanks for watching.